anyways, Michael, so you're going to be working on a new movie in September where we just finished a great project together. We had lots of fun. You, Armand Assante, James Caan, the great Robert Loggia, Robert Davi, Daryl Hannah. Did you have a good time on set? With it seemed that you really connected good with. You've worked with Tony Nardi before, but here it seemed like you really connected with Tony Nardi with a much closer relationship. And you knew Robert Davi. You worked with him before?
Yeah, I know most of the guys in the cast, Frank. But we have a great time working up there with you because you run a great set. It's always a great project, and every night we all have dinner together. It's just a beautiful experience. That, and it's a great story. I had to tell you, we've been doing a lot of movies, but I've been doing this my whole life, and I come up to Toronto and working with you was always a ball.
What's the difference? This is your career. This is how you made your living. This is how you've raised your family. This is how you've raised yourself because you started at a very young age, and you matured in this industry. What is the difference between shooting a Hollywood big picture and shooting a movie in Canada, in Hamilton, Ontario? What's the difference? What are the major differences?
Well,
in the style, and I'm not talking about the money. I mean,
no, I'm not even going to say the money.
I'm some guys talking about the style of shooting and what goes on here and what you've been used to in your career.
The majority of movies are shot the same way they were done, in the 30s, where they have a master, a couple of, two shots, maybe a specialty, and then a few close-ups. And that's the way they've been doing it since the beginning of time, and now, here we are in 2015, and there's a lot of experimentation going on, and you're a perfect example of how you do it, because you have 6 cameras, and you shoot out all the coverage at once. So it's much quicker, it's much more daring, because you don't have so much, you don't have weeks to do it. You just start doing it, and you don't stop. I remember that one day, I think it was on Real Gangsters, you shot 40 pages in one day. It was amazing. I've never heard of anybody ever doing that before or since. So what's different? They're much slower and more ponderous in the old-fashioned way.
Well, what I've noticed in working with you guys, and you've been a superstar for many years. You've been how many feature movies have you done, Michael?
I've done over 100, Frank.
You're in over 100 movies, but your brand is unbelievable, especially for Eddie and the Cruisers, Streets of Fire. People still every time we write something about to promote one of our movies, and your name is up. People from Germany, from the United States, you have a lot of fans all over the world. What allows a movie star to stay a movie star? Because usually, it's a very quick process. It's very hard to get there, but it's very fast for the lights to dim.
I think, stardom is one thing, but you also have to be like an actor and know how to play a role. Some people, they can't play supporting roles. But if they're not the lead, they don't know what to do. And a real actor understands that his character serves the story. There's a lead, there's a protagonist, there's the antagonist, and then there's all the supporting roles that add color to the protagonist and antagonist. You have to serve the story, and actually the mantra is you have to help the director bring to fruition his vision. And that's it. If you can live with that, then you have a career.
Yeah, well, for me, I'm not a big fan of somebody acting out the role. I'm a big fan of somebody who can play the role. And one thing that I'm a big fan of yours is because you take the role and you become the person. You do not act. You just take over the soul and the personality and the character of that individual.